podcast, Customer Success in Practice. I am Catalina, and I'm here with my co-host, Tamara, and we're so excited to dive into uh, today's topic, which is one we believe is essential for
Yep,
every CSM, which is the art of soft skills.
totally. And Kat and I just wanted to reintroduce ourselves. If you're new or if you're not new, I'm Tamara Keene and I'm a manager of a customer success team. I work from Sacramento, California, which is kind of like our coast to coast thing because Catalina is in Florida. I'm also a working mom and a lover of Phil's coffee.
Yes. And as Tamara said, I'm Catalina and I am based in Miami, Florida. Um, a manager of a customer success team. Tamara and I both work in the ed tech space, and between our teams, we cover the span of the country, seeing different customers in different regions, working with CSMs of all backgrounds, of all experiences. And so we're really passionate about this work. We love our work, and that's why we're here to talk about different topics in the customer success world.
Yes. And our goal is to get 2 episodes out a month. But I don't know if you can tell, I sound like garbage right now. I've had the flu for 2 weeks. Everyone take your vitamins. This is a reminder to everyone. So we're trying to get back on track. So we're super excited to be here. And today we're going to be on the playbook to explore something that's really important, something that Catalina and I see every single day. We have conversations about every single day, even if we're not naming it, which is how relationships drive customer success. We know tools are important, we know processes are important, but we also know, and we've seen firsthand, that relationships can save accounts.
Yeah. And so this is one of a two-part series. Today, we're going to reflect on why these relationships matter. And we're actually going to leave you with a simple toolkit to build empathy and foster strong connections with your customers. And then in our next episode, we'll dive into more of these skills and share real-world examples. So
Totally.
let's start by addressing the fundamental question. Why do relationships matter so much in customer success? It's easy to think our value is tied to the product or products we support, but the reality is that customer rarely remember features.
Yeah.
They remember how we made them feel.
Absolutely. And I mean, think about it. How many times have we seen customers stay with a product or with a platform, not because it was perfect, nothing is, but because they trusted us, they trusted the teams, they trusted the people to support them through the challenges that came with the product or that came, with the platform. So it's not the software that's coming in to save, it's the relationship.
Yes. And that like relationship creates that safety net when something goes wrong, because inevitably things go wrong. It's the relationship that prevents escalation. When your customer knows that you genuinely care about them, they're more likely to work with you, even in tough times.
Totally. There's this Gallup, I don't know if you've heard of this study, Kat. There was a Gallup research study that showed that businesses that have strong customer relationships see 63% less attrition, which is not obviously a coincidence. A great relationship can make up for even technical challenges, or at least walk a customer through the technical challenges and support them through the technical challenges, right?
Exactly. So, yeah, the takeaway here is building relationships isn't just a nice to have. In customer success, it's a strategic advantage.
Totally. Strategic advantage. I really want to like highlight that.
Yeah.
And now that we know why relationships matter, let's focus on the how. Building empathy and fostering relationships does not require grand gestures, although we do love to send a box of cookies when things go wrong sometimes. So but it's not the grand gesture, right? It's about consistency, it's about thoughtful actions, it's about being really genuine in that space.
Yes. And so we put together a simple toolkit to help you strengthen relationships in your day-to-day work. And we're going to break it down into three parts. Number one, listen. Number two, connect. And number three, personalize. So the first step is to listen. This goes beyond just hearing what your customer is saying. It's about understanding what's behind their words.
Yeah, like let's talk about maybe an example, right? So a customer maybe calls you, they're really frustrated that a feature isn't working. They're not just complaining, oh, this is so annoying, the feature isn't working. They're expressing fear that this could impact their goal or their reputation. And we've seen this so many times, I think, in the ed tech space where we have a phone call from a customer and they're frustrated because they worked so hard to launch the initiative of our product in their space.
Yeah.
And when it breaks down or when something's not working, that looks bad on them, right? Like that comes back to them. So, really, like when those calls come in, active listening means asking follow-up questions and really validating their feelings and being understanding.
Absolutely. So I think about this when you're on a call and you're listening to that customer, it's always helpful to restate what they say, but in your own way and asking, did I get that right? So it shows that you're paying attention. It helps build trust. It helps you really cement what you're hearing from them. So we encourage you to try that the next time you're talking to a customer. Try to just summarize what they say, repeat it back to them. It's such a great technique, both in CS, but I'd say like in general when you're having conversations with people.
Yeah, Kat. Sometimes I even ask my husband, like, did I understand this correctly? I know
Right.
it sounds like patronizing in that context. It's not. I'm like genuinely trying to make sure I understood it correctly.
Yeah.
So really focusing on like making sure that they're heard. The second step is really connecting on a human level. And customers, as we know, customers are people first, right? They're users second. So finding ways to connect with your customers beyond the product is really imperative when it comes to building those relationships.
Yes. One of my go-tos is just remembering personal details. So if a customer mentions that they have a child that's starting school, like I'll make sure to ask about it in the next chat. Or one of my customers, their daughter is a senior and took her senior pictures, and I even asked like, "Oh, how did the senior pictures go?" And sure enough, she like lit up and was like, "Let me show you." She like put a little picture in their Zoom chat, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" It was
Oh,
it was really sweet. And those little touches, those little questions about, whatever's going on in their lives makes a huge difference.
I love that. Yeah, that's a great example. Another tip I would say is do not underestimate the power of vulnerability. And I know sometimes as customer success managers, we're afraid to not know the answer to questions, but I
Mhm.
think when you really don't know, being authentic in those moments and saying, I'm not sure, let me get back to you, let me come back to you with the information. And then, of course, following up committing to finding an answer helps, but just being okay to say, like, I'm not sure. Let me get back to you about that because that honesty helps you build the credibility.
Yeah. And so finally, number three, personalize your approach. A one size fits all strategy doesn't work in relationships. You have to tailor your communication to each customer's style and needs.
Yep. I mean, it's the same with people in general, right? Like if you have a
Mhm.
customer who loves data, share reports with actionable insights. For others, a quick check-in call and just being present and listening might mean more.
Yeah. And don't forget about thoughtful gestures, a handwritten note, or just a small token of appreciation can go a long way in showing your customers that you value them.
Pat, a handwritten note is my love language. I love a handwritten note. I think that's a great example. If any of you haven't tried that with your customers, it goes a really long way. It's a great example. Thank you for sharing that. So there you have it. It's our simple toolkit to help you listen, connect, and personalize. When you focus on these areas, you'll build stronger relationships that set you apart as a customer success manager. And honestly, the people that Catalina and I work with do this so well. It has become part of our brand.
Yes, absolutely. So before we wrap up, I want you to take a moment to reflect, our listeners, think about how are you fostering relationships with your customers today? Are there opportunities to listen more, connect more, or personalize your approach?
Totally. Really think about that. If you work with Kat or I, we're so open to having conversations about what this looks like for you if you want to chat about it more. And of course, if you don't, or if you do, please don't miss our next episode where we'll dive deeper into these topics with a very exciting guest who's going to share some real life examples of building empathy and navigating tough customer conversations, something we all experience.
Yes. So thank you all so much for joining us on Coast to Coast Customer Success in Practice. Until next time, keep building those connections because, like we said, relationships truly save accounts.